Hello, third graders. So today we're going to be reading a story called The Rush for Gold. We're going to be looking at this story 3 times this week on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. So today when we read it on Monday, we're going to focus on reading and annotating the text. And then we're also going to focus on the sequence of events. On Tuesday, we're going to focus on the information that we learn from the illustrations and the maps. Now remember, our illustrations, they can have captions that help us understand those photographs. So that's going to be important to remember when we're answering those questions. And then on Friday, we're going to look at the story one more time to compare and contrast this story with another one that we'll be reading this week. The Rush for Gold. Before we start reading, I'm going to look at this orange box on the side of my page. It asks me a question. Who first discovered gold in California? When was it discovered? So I know that when I'm reading this page, I'm going to be looking for that information. Let's begin reading. What would you do if you found some gold? Would you keep it? Would you tell anyone? Or would you keep it a secret and look for more? In January 1848, a man named James Wilson Marshall found gold in the California dirt. He was digging a ditch on the banks of the American River when he looked down and saw several shiny pieces of metal. Each was about the size of a pea. Marshall was so surprised that he dropped his tools. He thought the metal was gold. He scooped some up and raced to see his boss, John Sutter, because the gold was on Sutter's land. Marshall rode for miles in the pouring rain to reach Sutter's house. When he arrived, the first thing he did was have Sutter lock all the doors and take him to a private office. Then Marshall pulled out the handkerchief he had filled with gold nuggets. Sutter was amazed. After having a serious discussion, the two men agreed to become partners. Each swore to keep the discovery a secret for at least 6 weeks. But how long could such a treasure be kept secret? Before we begin reading this page, let's take a look at the map at the top of the page. The map is titled Major California Gold Fields. By that title, I think that I'm going to be learning about the gold fields in California. So I see the state of California, and I see a big area of California that's called Sierra Nevada. Around the Sierra Nevada, I see little white dots, but I don't know what those white dots are for. To the left of California, I see the Pacific Ocean, and to the right of California, I see the state of Nevada. Now to figure out what I'm really looking at, I'm going to read this caption next to my map. In the mid-1800s, many people searched for gold in the riverbeds near the hills of the Sierra Nevada. The white dots on the map show where the major gold fields were. 1849, gold fever. Within weeks, the rumors about the gold on Sutter's land had spread. At the same time, other people were discovering gold in nearby rivers. California's gold was no longer a secret. The rush for gold had begun. Some people called it gold fever. Over the following months, thousands of people poured into California. They were eager to prospect or search for the metal. They came by horse and stagecoach and on foot. Some came by boat from across the sea. By 1849, more than 80,000 people had arrived to mine for gold. The 49ers, as they came to be known, made claims on the land. They were trying to protect their rights to the gold they hoped to find there. Searching for gold was hard. Miners used shallow pans to scoop up silt and sand from the bottom of the river. They shook the pans to separate the dirt from gold. They tilted the pans to drain out water and dirt. Then they picked out the gold flakes. Despite their hard work, few miners got rich from gold. Most miners spent more money on equipment and food than they ever made from selling gold. Let's take a look at our orange box again. Our question says, what happened after word got out about the gold in California? Think about that. Take a look at our heading and look how our text helps us understand our heading. And I think you'll get the answer to that question. Ooh, on this page, I see that we have 3 orange boxes. Each box goes to each paragraph on the page. So before I read the paragraph, I'll read the question in that box so we know what information we're looking for. 1850 to 1859, the height of the gold rush and beyond. So my first orange box says, what happened to California after so many people moved there? Let's read the first paragraph. Some miners had found enough gold to keep gold fever alive. People continued to move to California, and its population exploded. Cities and towns sprang up all around the gold mining region. In San Francisco, the port city nearest the gold fields, the population grew to 25,000. So many people had moved to California during the gold rush that there was a need for government. In 1850, the territory became a U.S. state. What happened to the mining towns after the gold was gone? Gold fever reached its peak in 1852. By then, more than $80 million worth of gold had been found in California. Gold mining continued for another few years, but the finds became smaller and fewer. Many mining towns soon became empty ghost towns. What did many miners do after the end of the gold rush? Instead of leaving California, many miners stayed and found other jobs. They became farmers and ranchers and helped turn California into an important food-growing state. Although the gold rush made only a few people rich, the 49ers helped turn a dusty, struggling Western territory into the beautiful and thriving state it is today. Now let's take a look at this photograph at the bottom of the page. That definitely doesn't look like a house that you see today. Let's read the caption to help us understand what we're looking at. The most famous mining ghost town is Bodie, California. It grew from 20 miners in 1861 to 10,000 in 1880. After the mines were abandoned, Bodie became a ghost town in 1915.